Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, allow me to apologize for the delay. As my good friend Natalia mentioned, I was caught up a little bit with the president, so I couldn't say I'm in a hurry, right? So let me start by first thanking the organizers for giving me the opportunity to talk to such a selected group of investors and business leaders about Cyprus's excellent investment prospects in various sectors. And what I wanted to say on the outset is that we're working very hard to maintain the momentum that has been achieved all these years. And on a macro level, allow me to say that in 2018 we delivered an overall growth of about 3.8%, while for the next 3 years it is expected that we will continue to grow the economy by at least 3%, between 3.5 percentage points. Percentages is one of the highest in the European Union, I have to say, and it is a number of sectors which is driving this performance. Moreover, so than professional services. Professional services can take many shapes and forms. It can take the shape of tourism, which we all know about the record numbers that we've had up to 2018. 2019 is predicted to be a bit of a more challenging year, but still we will hold up into the figures that we were able to deliver the past few years. So the grand scheme in terms of tourism is how do we improve the quality of the services that we offer, so that we can, as a matter of fact, attract a much more premium clientele and keep on improving over the years to come. Shipping is another sector very dear to Limassol's heart, which has been performing phenomenally well. And this is the reason that for both tourism and shipping, as of the past year and a half, the government has decided to create deputy ministries dedicated specifically to these sectors, just to demonstrate the importance of tourism and shipping into the economy. Financial services is another one of the elements of our services sector which is performing well. It has had its challenges over the past few years, as we are all very aware, just like almost everywhere in Europe, that financial services and the world indeed, with the depressed interest rates, is not having a good time. Headquartering is another area which we are seeing Cyprus booming, and basically it's the ability of the country to attract large high-tech organizations through the special incentives and schemes that we have for both companies but also for individuals. So attracting high technology companies to base their headquarters in the country. And couple that with the very attractive IP in a box regime that we have, that can generate very attractive low taxation on intellectual property in Cyprus. And you can see why this area of headquartering is actually doing pretty well in the country. Another area which we are seeing in recent years developing very strongly is higher education. We are seeing that particularly true in Nicosia, where a number of private institutions are attracting more and more foreign students, which are of course generating a buzzing economy, generating real estate, generating everything else all around it. And of course, I also need to make a special mention on funds management. We have seen new funds registered in Cyprus increasing by almost 70% between 2013 and 2018. 70% growth, where funds under management based here in Cyprus grew by 90%, which is again is a testament of the regime and the legal framework that we have in place. Before I move to energy, I also would like to mention the fintech industry. Let's not overlook fintech industry. Today Cyprus is home to hundreds of the world's biggest forex and online trading platforms. So let's not overlook that. The Cyprus Exchange Commission has already established a fintech and regtech innovation hub, which is providing fintech companies the access to specialty regulatory expertise that it requires. Which takes me, of course, to energy, and I will distinguish the topic of energy in two different sectors. I will talk about renewables, and I will also talk about the oil and gas industry. And one is no less important than the other. And we consider the natural gas that has been discovered, and hopefully we'll have more discoveries in the years to come offshore Cyprus, as a bridge fuel towards a renewables future. This is why you're not seeing us diminishing our strategy towards renewables. We are driving very strongly the penetration of renewable systems, especially with what regards to the sun, which is a much more predictable natural resource than wind is in Cyprus. It might be different in other countries, not in the case of Cyprus. So we have now special incentives and schemes for commercial renewable energy systems. Already one that is running, and it's going to be running for about a few more days, has oversubscribed itself from 150 megawatt that we have made available. We oversubscribed. We are now at 160, 170, and growing. And what is very important to say is that there are no feed-in tariffs involved here. This is purely to enter the competitive market, which is basically today under construction. We are opening up the market entirely, and a lot of individual producers are seeing the opportunity both for renewables, but also for conventional sources of energy. We are running programs for consumers, for households, because our vision is to try to have photovoltaic panels, just like we have solar heating almost everywhere, to have photovoltaic panels almost everywhere. It helps with the stability of the grid, but it also helps reduce the cost of electricity of households by almost 80%. So it's a way for us to counter the cost of electricity, but also achieve our green agenda. We have schemes for saving energy for both consumers, but also for businesses, which again the real estate sector has been exploring for some time. And having talked about renewables, I can mention about the exciting new world of the oil and gas industry. Cyprus is still in its infancy, but is taking important strides and steps towards becoming a producer of natural gas. The recent discoveries that we've had in Lakkotripis by ExxonMobil and Qatar Petroleum, and in Calypso by Eni and Total, are adding into the reserves that Cyprus has discovered so far in Aphrodite and in a lesser extent to Onisiforos. Next year, early next year, we plan to start a very extensive drilling campaign by all companies, some of the biggest companies in the world, that we hope will generate even more and better results. And better results which will also enable us to initiate some of the options that we have for monetizing the discoveries that we've had, or we will be having. Today, our number one consideration is to monetize the Aphrodite discovery by building a pipeline towards Egypt, liquefy, put it in ships, and then send it to the international markets, primarily in Europe. And just to give you an idea what kind of projects we're talking about, just the development of the field itself, so being able to extract the gas from the depths of the sea, will be a project in the range of 3.5 billion to start with. That's the biggest project the Republic would have seen up to that moment. The pipeline that would take the gas, that would transport the gas from the field to the Egyptian shores, right, is going to be in the range of about 1 billion. So we are talking about significant capital and operational expenses, projects here that will also generate further halo effect into the rest of the economy, because the materials that we'll need to construct, the employment of the people that will need to do all these works, will certainly generate significant economic activity. And this is just one field, ladies and gentlemen. In our plans, we have considerations for an LNG terminal here in Cyprus. The economics of the project, of course, must make sense. So this is why we are driving very hard to move ahead with more exploration and hopefully more discoveries in the next 12 to 18 months. And just one last word about the oil and gas industry is the fact that we don't limit ourselves in just developing, doing the exploration, having the discoveries, developing the fields, selling the gas. That will, by the way, the revenues will flow into a sovereign wealth fund. We're also trying to build an ecosystem which is going to have human talent at its center. So create a services-based economy in the hydrocarbon sector, which is again going to last for a long time. And just to give you some examples, all of those services that today we have to import, accounting, technical, legal services, etc. We want to be in a position to export them and provide them ourselves. Therefore, leveraging to the fullest the natural resources that we have been lucky to be blessed with. So, having said that, I want to close by once again thanking the organizers. I would like to mention that as government, we're working very hard to continue to improve the ecosystem, the business ecosystem, that would enable investors such as yourselves to do business more and more easily with the country. We have the institutions in place. We're going through structural reforms, maybe not as quickly as we would have liked, but still all changes require effort and time. And what I can assure you is that the government is committed to putting the effort and the energy to achieve and make Cyprus a better place to do business with. With that, thank you very much for your attention, and I hope you enjoy the deliberations of the rest of the day.
A big round of applause to Mr. Minister.